Hello everyone. Now let us discuss about viscosity and its physical significance. Basically, in fluid mechanics, let us consider that if we have a flow in between two parallel plates which are fixed. Now let us consider that there is a fluid flowing in between these parallel plates. Basically, viscosity is nothing but the restriction offered by the fluid layers to the adjacent layers flow. So basically the fluid layer, for example, if we consider this layer will restrict the flow of the adjacent layer. So the resistance offered by the fluid itself towards the flow. For example, if we are applying a force, okay, let us consider that we are applying a force and the resistance offered to this flow by the fluid is basically known as viscosity. And we have two types of viscosity, basically dynamic viscosity which is denoted by mu and kinematic viscosity which is denoted by nu. So now let us discuss about the what are the differences between like dynamic viscosity and kinematic viscosity. So dynamic viscosity is basically the fluid's resistance to the flow when an external force is applied. The fluids to the flow exerted by the fluid. It is basically the viscosity rated when an external force is applied. For example, we have basically Newton's law of viscosity, which describes the relation between shear stress, which is nothing but tau, and the rate of deformation, which is du by dy. So Newton's law of viscosity states that the shear stress acting on a fluid surface is directly proportional to the rate of deformation. So the constant which equates this proportionality is known as dynamic viscosity. So now the units of dynamic viscosity is nothing but tau by du by dy, and tau we have stress is nothing but force by area, which is nothing but Newton by meter square, by du by dy is nothing but meters per second into meter. So basically it is nothing but Newton second per meter square. And when we talk about kinematic viscosity, it basically discusses about describes about how a fluid flows in the presence of gravity. For example, let us consider that you have a bottle which has oil, and when you tilt the bottle, the flow, like how the fluid flows, whether it flows faster or whether it flows slower, due to the influence of gravity, is basically defined by the kinematic viscosity. Now if you consider water and if you consider viscosity, if you consider water and if you consider oil, so we observe that water flows faster and oil flows slower, or else even if you consider honey also, it flows very slow. So basically kinematic viscosity is also described in such a way that how fast momentum it is getting transferred, how fast momentum gets transferred. Basically kinematic viscosity denoted by nu, which is the ratio of dynamic viscosity by rho, which is equals to Newton second per meter square into kg per meter cube, is nothing but meter square per second. These are the units of kinematic viscosity. And so the relation between kinematic viscosity and dynamic viscosity is mentioned by this equation. Nu is equals to mu by rho. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.